Welcome back, my friends, to The Mortals. This is the place where we tear down the walls, brick by brick, peeling back the layers of life's most chilling and soul-shaking moments. And it is here that nothing's off limits. Life, death, the shadowy in-between, and those stories that linger in the darkest corners of the unknown. I'm Nathan. I'm your guide through the tales of near death, the unexplainable, and the transformative power of survival. But before we dive into today's darkness, I've got a little warning for you. If you're new here or haven't hit that follow button yet, beware. Because rumor has it, if you don't follow the Mortals, you're going to find yourself at a funeral, accidentally knocking over a table of finger foods, sending deviled eggs flying into the lap of the grieving widow during the reception, in the lounge. Don't be that person. Save yourself the haunting embarrassment. Hit follow right now and join our community of shadowed souls. And of course, new episodes drop every Tuesday and Thursday, so set a reminder, tie a string around your finger, whatever you got to do to keep the chills a-coming. And also, I would love it if you've left a positive review on whatever platform you're listening on, because that helps. And share this podcast with someone that you love or that you don't like, but still share it. So today, we're unraveling two true stories that are going to grip your heart and twist your mind. We're going to venture into the gator-infested swamps of Florida, where a spontaneous detour turns into a nightmare. We're going to go to the slot canyons of Utah, where a romantic hike is interrupted by the earth itself. These are real accounts of survival against impossible odds, and laced with questions that might just make you wonder about your own place in this mysterious universe. Let's step into the unknown. Our first story takes us to the dense, humid heart of a Florida swamp in the summer of 2021. Meet Caleb. It's not his real name, but we're going to say his name is a 30-something-year-old thrill seeker and amateur wildlife photographer from central Kentucky. Growing up, Caleb was obsessed with reptiles, dreaming of capturing alligators on film, a modern-day explorer in a khaki vest. Life took him down other paths, carpentry, music, but that childhood hunger for the wild never faded. Burned out from long nights on stage and early mornings in the shop, he gifted himself a solo road trip through Florida, camera gear in tow, chasing that 8-year-old dream. For days, the trip was pure magic. Caleb photographed herons at sunrise, drove down to the Keys, felt alive. On his last day, driving toward Tampa, he spotted a sign for a remote state park with a dirt road leading into the trees. An alligator silhouette on the sign was just beckoning him. It was mid-afternoon, hours before sunset. Why not? He thought. He turned onto the path, windows down, the rich smell of vegetation and standing water filling his car. 2 miles in, he parked at a small lot, grabbed his camera, and followed a narrow trail to a clearing by a dark lake, cypress trees draped in Spanish moss jutting from the water. He set up his tripod near the shore, the humidity dripping off of his hair, cicadas buzzing all around. After about an hour, he spotted his prize, a 9-foot gator gliding toward lily pads. Heart pounding, Caleb snapped photos. He was content. And packing up, he noticed this footpath closer to the water, thinking it might offer a better view. It looked well-traveled. He followed without hesitation. The ground shifted from sandy soil to slick mud. Caleb didn't realize he'd stepped onto a wild animal path, not a trail, in a swamp where gators roam freely between connected waters. As he crouched to tie his boot, camera bag shifting on his back, a splash erupted behind him. He turned just in time to see an enormous alligator lunging, jaws wide, from the dark water. Imagine being Caleb. Let that raw terror sink in. It's mid-afternoon in a remote Florida swamp. Caleb's on a muddy bank, an alligator's jaws snapping down on his left forearm. The force, it's like a sledgehammer. Pain explodes as bone cracks. The gator pulls him toward the water with shocking strength, dragging him as he braces with his legs. His mind goes blank. Years of nature documentaries did not prepare him for this. He remembers one tip: fight like hell, don't go under. Screaming, Caleb digs his heels into the mud, punches the gator's snout with his free arm. The beast shakes him in a death roll. The world begins to blur. Water, mud, sky, all of it blurs together and spins. He feels his humerus shatter as the gator rips his arm from the elbow down, then releases him, slipping back into the water with its prize. Caleb lands on his back. Blood is pouring from his jagged stump. Shock kicks in. His heart drums in his ears. He stares at where his forearm once was, knowing he's going to die if he doesn't stop the bleeding. With his remaining hand, he tears off his shirt, wraps it as a tourniquet, using his teeth to tighten it until the flow slows. Adrenaline dulls the pain to a distant throb. He's alone. He's deep in the swamp. No cell phone reception, no clear path to his car. Standing, wobbling, he knows he can't outrun a gator if it returns. He moves slowly. Boots are sinking in the mud, trying to retrace steps, but every branch looks the same at this point. His head lightens. He tastes iron. Getting lost with one arm was not the plan, but it is his reality. He trudges through chest-high water, vines cutting his skin, removing boots as they fill with water, then putting them back on as marsh grass slices his feet. Each step is a battle. Dizziness creeps in, nausea. Time warps in the humid heat. He passes the same cypress twice. He's walking in circles. Part of him whispers to rest. Another screams, if he stops, he's done. Climbing onto a dry patch, he lies down, fighting nausea again. This is where it ends, he thinks. Memories flash, his mother's laugh, his father's hands, his dream of photographing wildlife. It feels cruel that his fascination might be the thing that kills him. Letting go seems peaceful, but something refuses to surrender. A motto echoes. Panic never fixed anything. He sits up, looks at his stump and whispers, "Get up, move forward." He stands, focusing on each footfall like a mantra, scanning for gator eyes as he wades through the water. Hours are passing, light shifts, the swamp turns shadowy. Mosquitoes begin to swarm. He can't seem to keep up. Then a distant motor rumbles. It's a hum. Hope flares now. Staggering toward it, pushing through vegetation, Caleb reaches a narrow creek, and across it is a dirt road. He wades over, nearly falling, claws up the slope, and collapses. The motor is growing louder. He raises his good arm. He starts to wave as best as he can, and from around the bend, there is a boat driven by a man with a straw hat. The man's eyes are widened as he cuts the engine and runs over, and he says, "Stay with me, buddy," and he radios for help. The airboat, it's rough, the ride, and it's jolting Caleb with every bump. The man's telling Caleb to hold on, and he's focusing on the man talking. When they get back to the dock, the paramedics are there to load him into an ambulance, and he's in and out of consciousness as the sirens wail. And when he wakes, and when he gets to the hospital, they have to amputate more of his arm to prevent infection. And when he wakes in a white room, his stump is bandaged, monitors are beeping, and the doctor says he's lucky to be alive. Caleb laughed harshly. Lucky? I feel like I put my arm in a blender. He survived blood loss, shock, and the swamp's predators? Was it will that he survived? Was it luck? Was it something watching over him? The question haunts him as much as the gator's eyes do. Caleb's survival on that summer day in 2021, it's a miracle, and it's shrouded in dread. He spent weeks in a Florida hospital, enduring surgeries, waking to nightmares of gator eyes and the sensation of spinning underwater. I mean, physically, he's now healed, although his arm has gone below the elbow, and scars are hidden by long sleeves. Mentally, the toll runs deeper. There's trauma, there's survivor's guilt, there's questions of, why me? Therapists have helped him process the fear. Fellow amputees have shared tips on phantom pain and prosthetics, and his family has brought food and jokes and support, but He wrestled with why. Why did he live when others in similar attacks did not? Caleb returned to the swamp months later, not to tempt fate, but to face fear. Standing by the edge of the water with a friend, his heart was racing as a gator was actually in the water and glided by. Anger melted into respect. He whispered, "We're even," and he walked away. He resumed carpentry. He adapted to one-handed life, even returned to photography with a tripod and remote shutter. He works part-time at a nature center now, giving talks on wildlife safety, using humor, of course. See this prosthetic? That's what happens when you chase dinosaurs alone. His story inspired park safety campaigns, a sign with a crossed-out prosthetic arm, now a selfie spot. If it prevents one mistake, he says, it's worth it, but he still wishes for his arm. I mean, the deeper question lingers. Was Caleb's survival random luck, sheer will, or a purpose that's beyond understanding? And that airboat driver that's passing at the right moment? His tourniquet holding just long enough? Coincidence? Design? Caleb finds himself sometimes thanking a deity, sometimes the universe, sometimes just finding peace in the gratitude. His story isn't just about losing the arm. It's about choosing to stand when everything screams to lie down. It's a reminder that survival is persistence, it's luck, and maybe a whisper of something greater. Our second tale shifts from swamps to deserts to the red rock and blue skies of Zion National Park in Utah in 2019. Here, we meet Tom and Melissa Parker, a couple from Colorado craving a romantic hike through the Slot Canyons. Tom is an engineer with a love for geology, and Melissa, a nurse, finding solace in nature. And they dreamed of Zion's left fork of North Creek, nicknamed the subway for its curved tunnel-like walls. Married 4 years, in a sweet spot before starting a family, they saw this as one last big adventure. They trained, bought gear, studied maps, watched videos, prepared even for a challenging but magical trek. That morning, they started early. The trail wet from recent rain. Neoprene socks and boots fought the cold stream. Tom carried ropes, water, first aid. Melissa carried a camera. Sunlight bounced off sandstone walls, streaked orange and pink as they waded knee-deep, laughing at numb legs, snapping photos of waterfalls. The canyon narrowed, walls closing to a condor's wingspan, water deepening, current stronger from the rain. Tom led, probing with a walking pole, aware of quicksand risks, but assuming it a minor threat, not the movie trope of total submersion, just a sticky patch. They reached a bend, water deceptively calm. Tom stepped onto what seemed like solid sand and felt his right leg sink. Then his left, trapped in a geological vice as the earth itself began to swallow him whole. This is one of my biggest fears, the thought of a gut-wrenching terror quicksand. Tom, he's in an ordeal. It's 2019 in Zion's Slot Canyons, and Tom's legs are sinking into quicksand at a bend in the subway. Within seconds, he's thigh deep. The sand has become a vacuum that's pulling him down. He laughs nervously at first, a little quicksand, but trying to lift a leg sinks him deeper. Melissa, his wife, channeling nurse training, grabs his backpack to pull. He barely budges. He shrugs off the pack, lightening himself, but sinks to his waist now. Fear now flashes. Hypothermia looms in the cold water. Melissa tries digging with hands, but sand refilling instantly. There's no cell signal. They're miles from help. Few hikers due to the weather. Panic is bubbling. Tom's ribs near the sand now, struggling even worsens. They consider a rope, but it's out of reach in his pack. No branches, no leverage. A rock they wedge sinks too. "We need help," Melissa whispers. Tom, his eyes are wide, begs, "Please don't leave me." She squeezes his hands and says, "I'll come back, I swear." Tying a rope from his torso to a boulder as a lifeline, She instructs, don't move much. Struggling pulls you deeper. Then begins the hardest hike of her life, upstream, climbing slick rocks, leaving her husband, shivering from cold and adrenaline, slipping, scraping hands, every minute a lifetime. She pictures Tom sinking, pushing herself forward as his only hope. Tom, alone, he stays still to slow descent, flexing toes for circulation, humming to distract from the vice on his legs. Sand creeps to his ribs. He grips the rope, picturing Melissa, whispering, "Hold on." Light shifts, temperatures drop. He prays, something he has not done since childhood. And after an eternity, over 2 hours, Melissa finds a Kansas couple, explains frantically what's happening. The man's phone booster gets a faint signal. 911 connects to Zion Search and Rescue. Melissa gives details. Help is hours away. She paces, screams into the canyon. She's helpless. Back at Tom, SAR arrives, rangers, medics, climbers with ropes and pulleys and boards. And the team leader assesses. Tom's purple legs signal circulation loss. They anchor ropes to walls, wade out, one diving under to gauge depth. Using a Z-drag pulley and boards to distribute weight, they dig, sand refilling. A flotation device on Tom's chest. Melissa watches, trembling, talking to him about their dog, their first meeting. Pain sears as they pull. White noise everywhere. But inch by inch, his legs emerge, swollen and numb. Strapped to a stretcher, Melissa kisses his forehead. You held on. He smiles weakly. You came back. A helicopter awaits at the trailhead after a grueling carry. At the hospital, Tom survives. But why? Was it trust? Teamwork? A hidden hand guiding them through the Earth's grip? His rescue from Zion's Quicksand in 2019, it's a triumph of grit and love. Tom spent a week in the hospital, legs wrapped, enduring rehab to save muscle and nerve. Recovery was grueling, relearning to walk, months of therapy, crying when he first stood from gratitude. Melissa never left his side. Becoming a nurse, becoming a cheerleader, though vicarious trauma haunted her with images of Tom sinking. Tom felt guilt for the danger he put himself in. Couples therapy helped rebuild trust amongst them. Physically, sensation lingers, lost in his feet sometimes. Mentally, they question why they lived when others didn't. They never returned to the subway, but found peace in other parks, hiking with caution, carrying satellite communicators. They spoke at outdoor clubs even, nursing events, advocating safety, detailing quicksand signs, emphasizing calm and plans. They even donated to Zion SAR, thanked rescuers, their story now in training materials. Naming their first child after a friend who sparked their love, they taught him nature's respect. Tom shrugs on survival. Melissa didn't stop. The Kansas couple cared. Rangers trained. Maybe we carried grace unknowingly. At the Mortals, their tale just isn't about quicksand. It's trust and leaving to save, strangers' kindness. Why did help arrive in time? Was it chance? Preparation? Purpose? All of it forces us to ask, in the darkest of moments, are we alone? Or does something, someone, nudge us toward life? Their survival, like Caleb's, it illuminates resilience, partnership, and mysteries beyond control. A thread of choice and chance weaving through the abyss. Caleb and Tom walked away from death's grip, literally, one from a gator's jaws and the other from the earth's embrace. They were guided by will, luck, and even forces that I can't name. I mean, sometimes survival isn't a puzzle to solve, but a shiver to feel, a reminder life hangs by threads we can't see. If you've faced a near-death moment, a mysterious nudge, a loss that haunts, I want to hear from you. Join the Mortals community, a space for deeper talks, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, connection with shadowed souls, get early access to episodes like this, bonus content, behind-the-scenes content, and a line to yours truly to share your tales. Check the link in the description or visit nathanmorrismusic.com to join. Also, you can stream my music anywhere you listen to music. But your story might be the next we share. And I want to say a quick shout out to a tool that makes this show possible, and that is Descript. If you've ever dreamed of starting a podcast or creating just professional content without a studio, Descript. This is my go-to. Automatic transcription, easy editing, AI voice tools. It cuts the headache so you can focus on the stories. Give it a try, for free, at get.descript.com/mortals. The link's in the description. I would love for you to check it out. I think you'll appreciate it. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you listening to The Mortals, where the walls crumble, mysteries linger, and answers sometimes only lead to darker questions. But I like it that way. Oh, until next time, take care. You're loved far more than you could ever know.